Today's project is a Halloween card with a lot of embossing as well as die cutting. I've cut a panel and a black frame with the two largest dies from my 5x7 rectangle set. This Gothic window is by Poppy Stamps, and I'm going to trim it to turn it into a door. I shall keep this trimmed window sill as well. I'm going to layer 3 die cuts to give them more dimension. Now I am tracing this door casing on the inside with a pencil. And I'm going to cut out this shape, leaving a thin border outside the line. I'll be using this circle die by a memory box to cut out the small round window. I've colored the entire door with the brushed corduroy, and then I'm adding some stripes of vintage photo distress ink using a flat water brush. This is walnut stain distress stain. I'll be using it with a detailer brush to add some splashes. If you don't have the stains, you can use distress ink pads. Just squeeze them onto the palette, add some water, and you are ready to go. When the ink is dry, I'll also add some shading with the walnut stain. All the supplies I'm using are listed on my blog. The link is in the description. I have taped the door inside the wood plank embossing folder, and now I'm inking up another side of it to add both texture and color. I have die cut 3 circle frames and glued them together just like I did with the door casing. And now I'm going to add some copper shimmer with metallic rub-on paint. And I'll do the same with this piece. Now I'm going to assemble the door using some liquid glue. I'm coloring this circle yellow and sticking it behind the little window. These antique posts will make perfect hinges for my door. I'll just have to trim them down. And the door handle will be made out of this key. I'm also going to change this window sill into the baseboard. This little guy is called Mr. Betty. I've covered him with glossy accents. He also has a tiny tall hat and a bow tie. I'm coloring a ribbon on a hat black. Now he is ready to be added right in front of the window. I'm defining the position of a door on a panel and tracing the floor line. To stick those tiny elements, I'm using glossy accents. I'm going to color the floor with brushed corduroy and vintage photo, just like I did with the door. It is better to let the ink dry between the layers, by the way. Then I am covering the entire wall surface with pumice stone distress stain. I'm going to use forest moss distress ink for splashes. I'm inking up the folder with the tuxedo black ink again and adding some texture to the floor. Then I'm distressing the edges of the panel with the walnut stain. And now I'm inking up the brick texture folder and embossing the wall area only. To color the flames, we'll need 3 shades of inks. This die is called Tree Builder. I am now coloring the die cuts and then I am going to assemble them. I just have to put smaller pieces on top of larger ones. This is originally meant to be a fir tree, but I'm going to use it as a torch. Now I'm sticking the door on top of a panel and trimming off any excess. To make my frame dimensional, I'm going to use some strips of black craft foam instead of foam squares. Now I am adding adhesive again and carefully sticking the frame on top of a panel. I'm adding a metallic rub-on paint to make it match the rest of the elements on a card. To adhere torches, I'm going to color the foam squares black with an alcohol marker, because I wouldn't like any white to show through. I'm going to add these tiny bats to a card as well. And of course, some spiders will be nice too. I'm trimming the die cuts when needed. As a finishing touch, I am adding some glossy accents to the torches, bats and spiders, and to the door handle and hinges. Then I'm sticking the panel to a black 5x7 card base, and the card is ready. Here is what the finished card looks like. Hope you enjoyed watching and please check out the close-ups at the end of the video. Here are some more tutorials to watch, as well as the link to the supply list. Have a great time and thanks for watching!